This morning, we're going to be going over the top 10 most influential books that have really impacted my life. So we're going to really nail down these 10 books that transform my life. And then additionally, we're going to go over some benefits of reading in general and wrap up with some pro tips and some warnings about reading to make sure we get the most out of our life and achieve our goals. Cheers, friends. And I will financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline, very I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. Good morning, everyone. And this morning, we're going to be going over quite a few books, well, preferably the top 10 that I believe changed my life the most. So maybe you can get a lot of benefit out of the copies that I have. But we're going to run through the list. I'm going to talk about the most powerful takeaway I got from the 10 books. And then additionally, we're going to get into some benefits of reading and some warnings and some pro tips so we can try and take a little more action and get a little more done this morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So to jump straight to it, the 10 books that transformed my life, the first one that we have up on the list is The Power of Now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And really, my biggest takeaway from The Power of Now would be to stop worrying about the future, let go of regrets of the past, so we can heal ourselves to get to the point to where we can live in the present moment as much as possible. Really, we give this example of we're never going to run a marathon in 0 minutes and 0 seconds. And the goal is to be in the present moment as much as possible. It's not going to happen all the time, but if we can name it and we can recognize it and we can bring our focus and attention to the present moment, then life is a lot more blissful, a lot more peaceful. We have opportunities to engage. He has a really great understanding of his representation of what God means to him, spirituality in general. So highly recommend the book, but the key takeaway is letting go of regrets of the past and stop worrying about the future. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Next up, we have Flow. And if you see the name on there, this, I was practicing how to pronounce this actually. So Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. This is a Hungarian philosopher, and his name, his name is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, a Hungarian philosopher, and this book is called Flow. I would say the biggest takeaway I got from here is all we truly possess is our attention. So maybe you're listening to me right now, or maybe in 10, 20 minutes after the show, you're listening to someone else speak, or you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, or think of it like a spotlight, and your attention can only really be at one place at one time. And the quality of our happiness is to engage ourselves and get in this state of flow. So if we want to be in a state of flow, we need to pick activities that we can engage in that help push our skills and also challenge us. So he's got this cool flow chart. I've drawn it on the show before, but we're trying to be in a state of flow. And to be in a state of flow, we need to challenge ourselves that's relatively in alignment with our skills. But as we develop our skills, we have to increase the challenges. Because if we do not, so we have a skill. Say if you're at work, you're doing a job, and if you have built a skill set, but the challenges of work have not increased, then chances are you're going to get bored. Vice versa. Say if you don't have skill sets and it's like, all right, start a brand new business. And this was me in the beginning. I had no idea what I was doing, not sure how to monetize my business and any of this. So I had little to no skills, but the challenges were really great. So when the challenges are too great compared to our skill set, then this causes anxiety, overwhelm. So he talks about the balance between the two and trying to be in harmony in the center with pushing ourselves, building our skills, and having the challenges that do just that push us. So that was my big takeaway from that. But it's all about what you're paying attention to, and you have a lot more control over it than we think we do. Okay, next up on the list, shuffling through my pile, is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This one is an absolute classic and banger. Talks about leading with honey and talks about creating challenges with people. I guess if I had to nail one that I really, really liked, this concept of leading with kindness or being interested in other people to become interesting. So that's one of the chapter titles, is to be more interesting, be interested. So if we can engage, if you want to engage with more people, if you want to make more friends, if you want to earn more clients, if you want to blow up a business, if you engage with other people and you talk about what they're interested in, there's a very high likely chance that they're going to want to connect with you on some type of level. Have you heard of the person who only talks about themselves, who doesn't ask you a single question? How are you doing? What are you up to? What are you interested? Nobody likes talking to those kind of people. We call them selfish. So if we can be a little more focused and engaged on other people's interests, I think it can make a huge impact in opening people up and connecting. Because it seems like it's so hard to connect with people nowadays. Everyone's a scammer until you prove otherwise. And I think just helping people, engaging in what they love, is the easiest way to get a conversation rolling and going. So shout out to this book. Probably one of the greatest books easily of all time. So How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Cheers to that one. Next up, we have $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. So it's this book here on the left. I'm actually currently reading his one on the right. This one is very, 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 very business focused. It is so straightforward. And this is definitely Alex's superpower. He's an American entrepreneur and investor. And really you got a little bio here, actually, that says just that. But either way, this book was absolutely money. And it just really nails down, if you can see the title, I need to zoom in a little bit more. The key takeaway is how to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. That's really what the dude laid out just to absolute perfection. It's so straightforward, really easy to read, step by step. I think it's really boring to read, but it makes you take action. And we'll talk about the importance of taking action later. But if you're not sure what you want to sell and how to package it, or how to add value to what you're doing, create a ladder system, just nonstop value for people, then this is the book to read. This one's absolutely money. And it's I think it's really the only business one I have on here. But either way, $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi, absolutely money. And he's really good at making offers. The dude's a total business savage. All right. On to the next one, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. This one I really liked. And the key takeaway I got from this one is you just have to care about something. Whether it's you care about your job, you care about your family, whatever you choose to care about, we have to pick something. And so he talks about the best ways and strategies to go about this, to care about things that matter to you, to your interests, to your habits, to helping you make you a better person. So I really like this book because it just helps me. For a long time, I had a big issue with caring what other people think. I think this is very common for a lot of people. Go figure, right? And how he worded it and laid it out made me understand, like, oh, well, I don't have to care about this, and I have the option and opportunity to care about these other things that I actually really love and enjoy. Next up, we have Team of Rivals by Doris Goodwin. This one is an absolute beast, one of my favorite books of all time. I got to say, this is more so Abraham Lincoln, I think, is the greatest president to ever live here in America. And this book is all about making compromises and sacrifices for the greater good. Abraham Lincoln was just an exemplary person, and his willingness to sacrifice to do what he believed was truly best for people, for humans in general, our country. Just this letting go of the ego and all of this bull crap to make strategic decisions that are in alignment with what can help. I mean, shoot, he ended slavery. And the team of rivals, so he's got all of these different people that his cabinet that he gets to work with, like William Seward, Solomon Chase, Edward Bates, Edward Stanton, all these people were really good with money, people were good with the military. But their personalities were collided brutally. And Lincoln was the glue that held it all together and really got us through the Civil War. I mean, who knows what would have happened if it wouldn't have worked like that. But Doris Goodwin is a phenomenal writer. Detail. That book's pretty beefy. It took me a little while to read it, but man, I absolutely loved it. So that one was really impactful on me and how I can help people, and I can put the greater good into things, but also the pullback. Lincoln was depressed, man. He was like miserable. And so there's got to be a balancing act of you helping people, but also making sure that you're taking care of yourself, because Lincoln kind of fell short on that, honestly. So the next up we have is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book's good. I think it's a little bit boring to me, but the foundational principles are so good, and it's so straightforward and easy that I think everyone, especially if you're just getting into investing, if you're just thinking about real estate, if you're just like, you want to get out of debt, you want to get some assets, you want to get rid of your liabilities, like this is the book for you. It's so straightforward. It's a fun little read. Granted, I don't think it's from like just an enjoyment standpoint, if I'm being totally honest. I didn't like love it, the writing of it that much, but it does have a cool little story. But the principles behind it are just money, like getting assets and understanding what a real asset is. Key takeaway: assets are things that put money into your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money from your pocket each and every month. So if we can nail that down, that was the key takeaway I got from this. And he definitely has different ideas. He's always been a big guru on saving money on taxes and write-offs, and he's been really clever with debt his entire life. But Robert Kiyosaki, he made my top 10 list, because he really just got me thinking about how can I get assets, and he was a big influence on me wanting to buy rental properties in the beginning. So shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. That book's pretty good. Okay, next up is Kevin McCarthy's The On Purpose Person. Kevin McCarthy's The On Purpose Person. The key takeaway here would be figuring out what has you acting in alignment with what you want. What has you acting in alignment? What makes you feel like you're on purpose? So if I'm working out, if I'm working on my business, if I'm taking care of and working with my girlfriend, then that makes me feel alive and on purpose. If I'm eating junk food, if I'm watching television and I'm doing a bunch of bad habits or drinking alcohol too much, that is not on purpose. That's off purpose. So this one was great because it has a ton of great questions in it. So you're going to be writing a lot. You're going to be journaling a little bit. It's a little more interactive of a read, but I really liked it. And he has this analogy of the light switch that you see on the cover. And then you really just start to identify and raise awareness of when you're acting in alignment with the life that you want and when you're not. And then finding the middle ground of what's okay, because you're not going to act on purpose and have the lights on 24/7. Your light bulbs will probably burn out, but the goal is to try and enhance and improve and get really good light bulbs in there and have them on as much as possible, right? So we want to be living in alignment with who we are, what we truly want. And I really liked his analogies and really liked his questions in this book. So shout out to Kevin McCarthy. I thought your book was really good. The On Purpose Person. Okay, Next up, we have The Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking. If you have an addiction of any kind, an addiction, I mean, if I told you to stop, you couldn't stop. You feel like you need something that's external to you. When you truly feel like you need something that's external to you, that is addiction. This can come in the form of smoking cigarettes. So I was actually addicted to smoking cigarettes actually a little over a year ago now. Those dang vapes and cigarettes, they got me pretty bad. Nicotine in general has always been a little tougher for me. And in this book, it rings with me so true. If you didn't believe that smoking cigarettes or drinking beer or eating junk food didn't give you something, it didn't give you comfort, it didn't give you peace, it didn't give you a chance to relax. If you don't believe that it gives you something, you won't do it. So it's like breaking this belief. And once I broke the belief that smoking was giving me something, it was easy and natural to quit, because I was able to really realize, like, this is just hurting me and making me feel sick and miserable. I truly believe cigarettes are the devil, and that stuff was jacking me up. It was making me miserable, all this and that. So Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. And addiction's brutal, man. It really is. Addiction's tough. But whatever you're addicted to, if you can really come to peace and understand that that is not giving you what you want it to. It's not giving you what you want. The junk food isn't giving you comfort. It's giving you an uncomfortable stomach. It's giving you bad bacteria in your belly. It's making you feel like shit is what's really going on. So we need to really formulate thought, understand that that stuff's not giving us what we want. And Easy Way to Quit Smoking. Shout out to this book. If you have an addiction, that book was awesome. Next up, we have, and last but not least on our list, is we have Breathe by James Nestor. Breathe by James Nestor. This one's absolutely money. I really loved it. So Breathe by James Nestor. And he just talks about how to properly breathe. He talks about the importance of breathing. He gives tons of case studies. But really, the biggest takeaway I got through it, breathe in through the nose as much as possible. I feel terrible for people who have deviated septums and stuff like that, you know, when one nostril's closed off and they're not functioning properly. Because when you look at people who are unhealthy and sick, a lot of times they can't breathe through their nose, because your nose acts as a temperature gauge. Like, it helps. So you have air coming in and then it adjusts the temperature so you can have better oxygen absorption. Additionally, it's great for just filtering out like bad bacteria. And we alluded to the other one, just maximizing oxygen absorption in general. This is why we see runners breathe through their nose, and just healthier individuals are able to breathe through their nose. So breathing through the nose was one of the biggest takeaways I got out of this one. Breathe by James Nestor. Thought it was absolutely money. Really enjoyed it. And the case studies in it were really cool. It has this section on like chewing food and how important that is and what that's really doing for not only the structure of your face, but your breathing and your digestive system and stuff. But health and wellness category all day long. That one was really good. So those were the 10 books that transformed my life. And you're thinking, Tanner, wow, that's a lot of books. There was one or two that I really liked, but what's the point? What's the benefit of reading these books? So we're going to lay it right on you. We got 5 benefits of reading, and I'm going to bust through these because I know I've been a little long-winded this morning. The first benefit of reading is knowledge and information. You do not know what you do not know. Death by ignorance has plagued humankind since the beginning of time. And if we want to continue to innovate, if we want to continue to improve in general, then I think acquiring knowledge is really powerful. Additionally, now gaining knowledge, this is from Aristotle, shout out to one of the best to ever do it, is really enjoyable. Like, it's fun to learn new things. I truly believe so. Try it for yourself. I'm sure you've been doing it for a long time, but finding your interests and learning about your interests and taking action on it feels freaking amazing. So if we can do more of that, then we're going to get the benefits of reading. Next up, vocabulary and language skills. Being able to communicate at a higher level, I think really helps with connecting with people, helps understanding people, helps other people understand you. So many of us need help and support, right? We talk about this principle of no man or woman is on an island, and we need help, but we need to communicate that we need help. And I think people who read have an edge and are really sharp, and it helps with getting help. It helps with getting it to where we want. So language and vocabulary, very, very helpful. Our third reason is critical thinking, being able to reflect, being able to understand. So we read these books and then we get to personalize the benefits to our own life. That's so great about reading. So we have critical thinking, reflection comes and goes, and it's a really powerful tool to help improve our lives. Next up, we have concentration and focus. If you want to be able to concentrate on your work, on your partners, on your relationships, on your career, on your money or whatever, if you want to be able to concentrate and focus better, I think reading is a great mental tool and exercise to help do just that. So concentration and focus comes in at number 4. Last but not least is imagination and creativity. We alluded to the power of taking other people's literally decades and decades of research and all of these books, like just these philosophers. This Hungarian guy, one of his case studies in here took 25 years to do. 25 years. I'm barely older than that. So we can take all of this time and all of this experience and we can condense it down and shape it and reform it into something that helps us, our lives, our personal situations. And that's one of the most beautiful parts about reading is within just a week, you can knock out a book if you really sit down and read it, and you can completely change how you view, how you experience, how you think, your own ideas. The creativity and imagination will start to flow. So that comes in as our last benefit of reading. A little pro tip and a warning before we get out of here. So if you're reading a book, make sure that you find it interesting and that you really want to read it. I know in the past, I've forced myself to read all the way through the book. I got to finish it. I got to finish it. I got to finish it. And I don't know if I thought I was going to miss something. I don't know if it was just for accolades or to say I was cool so I could have a better thumbnail or whatever for a YouTube video, whatever it was. I don't read books if I'm not interested in anymore. And if I'm not really inclined to learn about it, I'll put it down. I'm never going to read all of the books in the world, absolutely no matter what. So it's I just continue to pick up books that I find interesting, and then I read them until I don't, and I don't feel guilty about it. So that's a little bit of a pro tip I wanted to add. And lastly, make sure we're balancing action and learning. I was in a learning state, right after college, I was in a very deep learning state. I was consuming podcasts like a madman, and I was reading books like a madman. I was reading way more than I do now. And I just wasn't taking action on my business, on my relationships, on my health, nearly as much as I wanted to. And I was kind of stuck in this paralysis analysis. I think I read 50, no joke, 50 real estate books, dude. So many, an egregious amount. I'd have to count them up. It might be a little less than that, but it was a lot. And it was about all different types. Granted, it really helped because I was prepared and things usually work out the way they want them to. But I was if I would have taken more action sooner, I would have got a lot more done. And I've learned more from just owning rental properties and working with them in a couple of months than I did reading all of those books combined. No joke. You get a call in the middle of the night. This breaks. You're doing that. You got to call. You got to find somebody to fix this. You got to find who can help me with the taxes, who can help me with the financing. Just taking action if you really want to learn, I think, is the fastest way to learn. But reading's an enjoyable process. So I just wanted to put a warning up there because that was something I fell into the loop of. I was reading, and then I wasn't actually taking action and changing the results and the environment of my life. So you got to balance it a little bit. And I wanted to add that here before we cut out of here. What books do you want to read? Go ahead and leave a comment on this video. I'd really greatly appreciate it. What books, maybe one of the books on our list made something that you want to read, maybe from Dale Carnegie, maybe from, let's try to pronounce it one more time, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the Hungarian philosopher. This book is absolutely money, by the way, but it's whatever. Hopefully we pulled up a book that you think would be really interesting, or maybe you have a book that's already in your head that you want to read, or maybe this video inspired you to go look up some other books that help you get closer to your goal. What are you interested in right now? And then type it in on Google, whatever, have it spit out copies, go to the local library, it's free, and pick up a book, read a little bit, and see if we can learn and improve and get some of these benefits. So thanks so much, guys. This is all I had for today. This was 10 books that transformed my life. Additionally, we went over some benefits of reading. Hopefully it was beneficial to you. I got to get out of here. I got work and crap to do myself. And in case you needed to hear it today, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's rock today. Let's have a good one. Maybe go pick up some books, share them with some friends, and enjoy life a little bit more. Enjoy, friends. Have a good one. And I'll catch you guys live bright and early, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of the Talk Tanner Morning Show. Oh, man, tomorrow's already Thursday, September 28th. Oh, my gosh. Craziness. But it'll be a fun one. You guys have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.